dancing on this Friday, Junior. We're so excited to be here with you all today. I'm Dr. Gina Anderson. I am a learning scientist, and I am a lifelong believer in the power of human potential. My season 4 of the I Love Learning podcast is called The Courage to Create. Innovation rarely begins with the perfect conditions, and more often it begins with curiosity, learning, and the courage to take the first step. I know neuroscience shows us that when we embrace new experiences and challenge ourselves to learn, the brain actually forms new neural pathways and strengthens our capacity for problem solving, creativity, and growth. Every small step forward literally reshapes our brain and it turns possibilities into progress. So this season, I'm celebrating people who saw an opportunity to make something better and had the actual courage to act on it. So today, my guest is Britta Miano. She's the founder of AI QuantumLead. Now, Britta spent nearly 15 years working in freight operations. She experienced firsthand how quickly transportation moves, how quickly things can go wrong, and how much this industry depends on relationships. She also watched companies grow and saw what can happen when that growth begins to outpace the people responsible for carrying it. Those experiences actually led her to do what she describes as the scariest thing and create AI QuantumLead. Her approach to AI really caught my attention because she isn't interested in removing the human side of transportation, and we all know how important that is. She wants to give people more time for it. She knows AI can handle repetitive tasks and high volume work so people can focus on their attention where their experience, judgment, relationship, and ability to solve problems matter most. I think that really raises an important question for all of us as technology continues to change. Is this idea is how do we use innovation to help people do the work that makes us more uniquely human? Her story reminds us that sometimes the experience we gain over many years becomes the foundation for the thing that eventually we have the courage to create. Britta, thank you so much for joining me today. Why don't you start and tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, what you're passionate about, and tell us what you had the courage to create.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Gina. It's so awesome to be here. Again, my name is Britta Miano, and just a little bit about me. Like you said, I've been in the freight and logistics industry for 15 years and took a recent leap of faith and decided to create my own company and really just take what I've learned from that 15 years when it comes to really focus around sales and customer service and try to help people with some of the problems I've solved and using AI to help them solve it. But I think kind of what you hit on in the beginning is what I'm most passionate about. AI is incredible. It's amazing. It can do unbelievable, miraculous things, but you're still going to need someone programming it. You still need someone who knows your business and knows what you're trying to accomplish and knows the essence of who you are and who your company is and can translate that and scale that across all different types of business problems that you're solving. So yes, there's amazing tools, and we have the tools at QuantumLead that can help you scale and grow conversations and relationships. But ultimately, what I want to create and help people do is, bring your essence and your identity, and let's feed that into the AI and make it an extension of your brand. And really what got you going in the first place was probably you or whoever got your business going and the experience you provided. So let's protect that and scale that as you grow.
I love that. I could learn so much from you. I'm so excited. This is so great. So I wanted to start this podcast because this idea of creation and the power to create, really, what does that mean for you? Because look, you left your full-time job and you started something new. So what does that mean?
It was really, I will not sugarcoat it. It was really hard to leave Break Classic. We were talking about it.
Oh, yes, or goodness.
It's just one of the, and just my relationships there and the company itself is just an amazing place to work. And when you have a place you know is good and is going to take care of you and is a good place to be, leaving that is terrifying. and was really, really hard to do. But I think just I've always had a dream to do something on my own, to be an entrepreneur. My mom was an entrepreneur, my dad was, so it's kind of in the blood and in the genes, and wanted to give it a shot. So that's, yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So you spent like 15 years or longer in this industry, and you created this new company, but you spent all this time before launching it. What was it that made you realize that there's probably a better way to help transportation companies grow? And maybe this can apply beyond transportation. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would say just like the 15 years of working for a company, and I worked for one company. So I got to see one company over 15 years evolve, over time. So I think for me, what was it really just being able to be exposed to so many parts of the business. And, my company was huge. It's a massive supply chain production company. And, and I've been fortunate. I was in customer facing roles. So I got to just go out, meet people, talk to people, whether it was a frontline warehouse worker or it was a truck driver or a, senior leader or middle manager or C-suite, I was exposed to all layers of the organization. So just that like kind of baseline fundamental knowledge of, what matters to people, like what bothers people, what keeps them up at night.
Yeah.
It's some common themes, and it's usually around other people, making people feel safe and seen and heard and like all those types of things. So I think that was kind of just a big thing. I just have a good foundation. I know what your problems are more than likely, or could probably guess or help you find them out. And then I would say the second thing was that I think and really the parent company does an exceptional job of is kind of that identity. They know who they are. They absolutely are unabashed about what their core values are and what they believe in. And they have over hundreds of years. I mean, it's taken them a long time. They've been in business a long, long time, but they have learned how to scale that identity across every function. And they have thousands of teammates across tons of states and, cultures and whatever. And they've been able to, this identity of how people who work for that company show up. It's so important, and being able to capture that. So it was like, okay, I've got this business acumen. I understand how important this identity is. And then you have like AI that just miraculously appears on the scene. And it's like, maybe this could somehow come together and become valuable for someone. And so here's QuantumLead, and it's really, again, kind of that baseline. We have these AI tools that can help you. But really it's like that identity layer that I'm super passionate about. And I don't want us to just be like a robots, in the future. I think it's like, we have a chance now to really protect that humanity and that identity as it, explodes across everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think about, people ask me all the time about this with AI, since I'm a learning scientist, like, how is this taking away from our humanity, And so here you are defending, like, we don't want to lose it. And you're an AI technology company, It's really an interesting perspective. I think is going to be continually part of the conversation is, this technology to grow. So I read in one of your statements that it was really scary for you to take the leap. So, okay, so you have this fear and you're scared. So what was the trigger, or like, how did you build that confidence? Because I think that's where people stop, right? And that's one of the reasons I created this podcast, because it's the fear of the unknown. It's the risk. Are you risk averse, So what was it?
Yeah. I think again, part of it, and maybe I just got trained this way, starting working so young. But when I started working for, the company I started working for, it was a startup. It was only like a few of us in the office. And so, I'm like, they asked me to recruit truck drivers. I've never done that before. So, I'm learning, like, first of all, how to sell to, and I was recruiting owner operators. So I'm trying to sell them on the lease program and all the money we're going to make them and all the miles they're going to get. And so, I just had no idea what I was doing, like truly no idea. And so every day you're having to talk to people, like, you're going to look stupid. You're going to say something you feel like was dumb. Like, you're going to feel like, oh God, I had a cringe moment. And I have experienced those moments like 14 bazillion times over the 15 years, where like,
Haven't we all?
right.
Mm-hmm.
And but you learn to like carry on, and so I think I have a little bit of that of like, I'm comfortable not knowing what's going to happen. I'm very comfortable not knowing. I don't know a whole lot about. I'm learning every day about AI. I know business, I know supply chain, I know people, I know that world, but I have to intentionally learn and teach myself AI, every single day. So I think just being able to kind of get to it, and then I would not be able to say this. I just had the courage all on my own. Like, it's of course because I had an unbelievable amount of support and encouragement, and like, you got this, girl. Like, we are so excited for you. We know you're going to make, like, just that. And you got to believe in yourself, of course, and not have self-doubt, but to have the team, have the people rally behind you was always lovely and, wonderful to feel. So, I mean, definitely like that inner, you just kind of got to try.
Yeah, absolutely.
The support system, obviously, I think is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to, because at the end of the day, it falls back on you and your decision, but having a support of people around you definitely does help. And in your career, you were immersed, and I know the company you work for, and so many incredible leaders, and you watch them grow over time. What did those experiences, because you were working and now you're in the role of leading a company. So what did those teach you about leadership, culture, and really putting people first?
Yeah, I love this question. I think, so I watched it was 15 years that I worked there. It was a startup when I first got there. It was like a year and a half old when I first got there. So the first, for each of the different leaders, there were 3 different leaders over the 15 years. And they each served their purpose, right? So like, there was no bad leader. It was just the leader for what we needed at the time. And so the first leader, was probably hugely impactful for me. And this was the one thing he did that I absolutely took with me as I continued to grow in my own career there. But now I would absolutely take with me and encourage everyone to do this. But he was because we were a startup and our culture was so small and building, he was so intentional about, talking to his people, not just talking to his leaders, not just taking their word for it. He would, if they implemented a new technology or a new process, or they hired someone new, or they changed our seats, like it could have been something so simple. He would come to the floor, he would sit on the floor with us, and he would engage with us like we were his peer, and he would ask us. And so what he taught me was like, I am allowed to have a voice. I can have a voice. It's safe here to use your voice. Like, you can use it here. And then he would actually take what we would say and he would do something with it. So it was like, and your voice matters. Like, and so all those things that I think for people, if you want to get, 100% out of people, I'm sure you can do that. But if you want to get 1,000% out of people, like, lean into them and like ask for their voice and their opinion. The second leader, we were in like a moment of, growth, startup, let's grow, let's get the revenue in. And then it was kind of like, hey, we're having an identity crisis. Like, we don't know exactly what we're doing here. And it was just kind of a natural evolution of how the business was moving. And a new leader needed to come in and kind of take us to the next phase. And that was really just like a waiting period. And I remember being so frustrated, like, why aren't we doing anything? Why are we just waiting? Like, and looking back, it's like, it's so intentional and important to slow down, like level set, like make sure we were going to be moving in the direction we needed to move in. And then he kind of got us to the next phase. And then the current leader is in now. And the current leader who's in now, I've known forever and adore him to death. And I think he's really done an incredible job turning that company into what it is today. But his was really like, I want you to have faith in our business. I want to show you that you can trust the business that we have created together. And, it's not always going to look pretty, it's not always going to be beautiful every month, but like, trust and have faith. And again, just this kind of like belief that it was going to be hard, but we were going to do it together, and do it the right way. So I think like each one of those taught me something about how to lead well and in specific times.
That's great. I love those different perspectives. And in fact, I think about a lot of times people see businesses and they're already like scaled,
Right.
and it doesn't happen overnight. It's not like one day you wake up and this happens. I mean, that doesn't happen,
Yeah.
And so if someone is listening today, I started my podcast because drivers were saying they were feeling lonely. And feeling depressed, and honestly,
Yeah.
learning is the seed of life, and creation and creativity can help you make you feel better. And so someone's listening today that is feeling a little down in the dumps. What would you recommend for them to take the next step forward with the power of creation?
I think you have to, number one, you can do all these things. You can have a checklist of things to go do, but I think like emotionally, you need to give yourself permission to dream and to, maybe take a risk. And like, there's that self-doubt of, there's always a rationalization. There's always a timeline constraint. There's always something you can put in front of you to give you a reason not to do something. But that's you're choosing that, you're putting that in front of you. So if you really want to do it, you really want to change, you really want to go for it, like move the block out of the way. Get it.
That's right.
And like you might, like we said earlier, like you might fall on your face, but you are smart enough, you are capable enough, you will stand up and you will keep moving forward and just go for it. And no one is going to look at you and be like, they're going to be like, wow, what a brave person. They did something scary and, maybe they weren't successful, but they did it. Like that is in and of itself should be celebrated.
Absolutely. I love that advice. Go dream. If you're dreaming about it, go do it.
Yeah.
Go take a step forward. I don't know. Do you know Evan Shelley? Evan is the founder of the Truck Parking Club. And in fact, he was on my podcast last week and he wanted to ask you this question. He said, where do you think AI will be in 10 years? And how impactful will it be on our lives by then? So I like to do this because I like guests to know each other.
No, I know. Yes. So, and yeah, we did link up today, by the way. I forgot.
Yeah.
But no, so I think AI is going to become kind of like every day. Like we're not going to be talking about it so much. I don't think it's going to be like what AI did today. I think of it as kind of like the internet, like when the internet boomed, everyone's like, look, I'm using the internet to do my job or do this and that. And then, but then the internet just became a place where we all do, it doesn't have all the, you know what I mean, around it. And I think again, my hope is it just enhances our life and makes us have to do less awful work and all the grunt work or will make us do things faster so we have more time to be human beings.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that right there is enough. If we can, anything that can help us be more human. This week, our team had a health and wellness challenge. This was tough, Britta. This was tough. We had one night this week, we had to do no screens. I wonder if anyone listening has done this. Like take a day and do a night after work and no screens. That means no TV, no computer, no phone.
Oof. That'd be tough.
And honestly, it was hard, but we did it. And Scott looked at me and he's like, we should do this more often.
That's awesome.
We spend more time together. So next week, my guest is Curtis Garrett. Do you know Curtis? He's the CEO at Lateral. All right. What should we ask Curtis? What do you think?
All right. Hang on. I'm going to pull my question here.
All right, Curtis, if you're listening, we're going to ask you this next week. So get ready.
Okay, so this is kind of along the lines of like essence stuff. So as Lateral scales, what's the one leadership principle you refuse to compromise on no matter how fast things move?
Wow. I love that. I love that question. Mine is integrity. Integrity is everything. Always being honest and upfront and transparent is so important, not only to your team, but to your clients, it's so critical. When I say that I'm not raising prices, I mean it. And I mean it. We haven't raised prices, but people don't believe us because vendors out there say that and then they raise prices. Don't don't say stuff you're not going to do, like be true to who you are. It's so important. I'm going to wait to see what you say next week. All right, Britta, looking back on your journey, what do you hope your legacy will inspire others to have the courage to create? What do you think?
I think this is probably going to sound cheesy, but I think it's, again, I am doing this because I am excited about doing it, and it's bringing me joy and excitement, and I love learning. And I think if at the end of the day, the business is just that, and it's, I don't a gazillionaire or anything, like I will still be proud of myself for doing this. And I think just, again, giving other people permission, or to just show them like, hey, someone who's been in business for 15 years is also, who doesn't have a coding experience or all these things that they technically should have, to run an AI technology company. Like you can do anything you want. And you can, just give yourself permission to dream. And that would just be kind of like my hope and legacy for people that I get to do.
I love that. That is so cool. That's so great. Oh my gosh. Okay. So tell people where they can find you, what's the best way to learn about your company, and then leave us today with some lasting advice to put into our pockets and take with us on this Friday Junior.
Alrighty. So let's see. So the best way to reach me, honestly, I'm on LinkedIn, I would say. Just direct message me through LinkedIn. I am always checking out what's going on there. And then obviously my website is www.AI QuantumLead.com. And you can check out some of our baseline solutions that we offer. But yeah, that's how you can find out more about us. And then for my lasting advice, this is the one thing I've lived by my whole life. My mom, I can't take credit for it. It's my mom who beat my head. But dare to be different. It's what I tell my kids all the time. Dare to be different. Just don't try to be like.
All right. All right, everyone. Dare to be different for the rest of the week, and let's go and spread kindness. Until next time, we will see you. Thank you so much for being with me today, and good luck on your adventure. You are going to be so successful.
Thank you, Gina. I appreciate it.